Recording in process.
Progress.
That means it's time for
Maybe you're
episode 5.
British. It is. Let's go.
How's it going, Gio?
Going really well. It's a splendid afternoon in dark, cold, icy Norway.
It's dark, cold in southern South Wales as well. Very dark and cold.
Bitch, please.
Oh yeah. If you guys aren't aware of Julian's kind of current situation in terms of his living quarters, it like snows all the time at this time of the year. Am I right in saying that, or am I completely wrong?
Like somewhere in the middle. It snows now and then, but it can suddenly take off and be like, yeah, now it just snows like crazy for 5 or 10 days straight, and you're buried. So you never know.
Buried balls deep in some snow, freezing cold snow.
Yeah, like you open your door in the morning and it's dark still and depressing.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to shove the door open,
So for those of you in the UK who struggle with the fact that it rains sometimes, you could be living in Norway, like fighting off Vikings and prehistoric beasts as you navigate your Viking craft through the seas. But instead, you're living in the UK under the control of Boris Johnson. And
I think people in the UK, they complain, but they don't know what it's like
do.
here, man. You don't know what it's like. But I mean, it's like pretty bad over there. But here it's even worse. Like we talked about last time, comparing ourselves to other people's shit is never good because they have it worse than me. People in Africa have it worse than me. It doesn't matter because your struggles are good enough, as they are. But I'm moving, man. I'm moving to a warmer country soon. It's going to be good. It's going to be nice.
Tell us about the move, Julian. This is news to me.
I say soon, I always have dreams. I always have goals. And then it doesn't take as fast as I want it to, of course. But my plan is to be a digital nomad in a bit. So just traveling, living in Spain a little bit.
Nice.
Possibly in Latvia, because a friend of mine is from there.
Nice.
And moving around, seeing the world.
When do you plan to move from the sultry cold environment from Norway to the rest of the world where it's quite sunny?
I'm planning to move from this town this summer, probably. So my life is pretty uncertain, I run a business. Sometimes it goes really well. Sometimes it goes okay. Sometimes I have a side job too. It's like all over the place. I don't really know what's going on all the time. So it's up to debate, but seriously, really strongly considered debate. So closer to the summer, I might move to Latvia or I might move to the southern part of Norway. And from there, I'll move more.
Damn. Team HBP on tour. Nice.
Yep.
Which means, well, provided he comes here in the UK at summertime, there may be some brief, mildly bearable temperatures to be experienced by the population. So, hey, who knows? In the summer, maybe Layback will be in the UK for a collaboration.
Well, if you can allow me to be in a deficit for a bit, then I can be shredded. Maybe I'll be fluffy. I mean, I'll blame you for everything.
Yeah, blame me for everything. That's fine. Blame me because I'm the master of puppets.
That's what happens when you get a fitness coach, guys. You're not free anymore. They just decide how much you're going to eat.
But you have dialogue, and that's important when it comes to coaching. I think a lot of people navigate their way toward hiring a coach because of the accountability aspect of it. But in some contexts, people are prepared to perhaps not challenge the direction that their coach is willing to take them in, or perhaps what it is that their coach is perceiving is the right answer in the context of the situation. And to get the most out of your coaching experience, whether it be with me, with Julian, hopefully with either one of us too, because we are amazing, you've got to, if you feel uncomfortable with the situation that you're in, challenge your coach. Don't just take what they say for verbatim, because Julian and I, we don't coach people's, like steroid stack, for example. But there have been coaches out there that have been trusted by their clients to navigate them through an appropriate performance enhancing stack in order to achieve a particular goal that have ultimately like died or have very, very severe health effects as a result of it. And I know that's the very, very deep end of what may happen if you don't challenge your coach's perspective on things, but keep your own perspective open. if your coach tells you, right, you need a deload, it's like, well, I don't really, on the very like on the ground up perspective, right? Your coach is telling you need a deload, but you're saying, I don't really feel like I need it. Challenge them on it. So like, I feel I can go for another program, maybe another couple of rounds of this program. Maybe I can go for another whole program and another two. Who knows?
Yeah,
Don't
I
be
think
afraid
that's
to
why
challenge.
it's a good discussion back and forth. You know best how you feel, of course, and you can have your opinions, but they can challenge those opinions as well. And when I was starting with Morgan, I was like, what the fuck is this program? It looks fucking retarded. And I don't want to do this shit, but I'm open to something new because my genetics are so shit that I might as well just try. And it turned out pretty cool. So sometimes it might look wrong to you because of your beliefs or your ways of doing things so far, but then it's actually better.
Yeah,
Who would have
absolutely.
thought?
Yeah. So kind of when Julie and I first started working together, we moved straight into a half body. Well, I guess a twice. Oh no, is it half body split? Yeah, half body split.
Yeah.
So we divided your training volume up across both body parts, and that was the round of the training program, right? So if you take the context of a typical training program being the course of like 7 days, you don't have to stick to 7 days. You don't have to divide your body up over 7 days. So in the context of what Julian was moving toward, or what I felt is most appropriate for him to move toward, given the context of his situation, we moved into a deload metabolic program, which divided his volume up over 2 days. That was it. Like it was a 2-day training program that you repeated. And I'm sure that Julian, when he first enrolled on that, after coming from a kind of a full body training split, like 3 times a week, right, felt a little bit, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I think we already lost some people because we're diving straight into like boring shit and numbers and programs. But the point being that, yeah, try something new. And I have a question for Morgan. Like, because I always wondered, did you always have this dream of being a fitness coach, or was it kind of something you suddenly one Sunday afternoon you were like, I'm gonna be a fitness coach because that guy told me I can't be one? Or what made you be a fitness coach, and what made you, because you're like a nerd, right, at fitness? I think I'm kind of a nerd too. I think you're smarter, but I'm catching up. But like, I think people who really are interested in fitness and the science behind it and like optimizing muscle gain, it's kind of a dry topic for a lot of people, but you have some weird fascination for it. And what do you think started that? And like, why do you think you're coaching people?
Wow, cool question, dude. Julian's just like taking the podcast by the horns. I love it. So what made me start coaching
Sometimes you
people?
just gotta take the wheel.
So I think it stems back to my initial desire to want to start resistance training in the first place, which is still, I think, I've not really sat down enough to kind of align myself to the point where I understand why. But I think a lot of it was to do with my history of, or my experience of kind of like primary and secondary school. And no, not primary. Primary was great. Secondary school, where I started to experience a quite an unfortunate level of bullying on a daily basis, which was quite uncomfortable to live with. And in the context of secondary school, right, we got like what, year 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it went on to 11, 12, and 13. So like 7 years of like being this kid who's bullied. It wasn't particularly it wasn't a particularly pleasant experience. I had my friends, I had great friends. I got friends that I still know now, but the majority of the population in the school that I went to were quite against me because I had like apparently a larger than average head. Like if you look at my profile, perhaps I've got maybe a longer head than the usual individual, but that was literally it. I've got a big head. Therefore, you're insignificant, you're worthless, you're pathetic, regardless of your emotional capacity, what you can offer to the world, how nice of a person you are. If we get to know you, you have a big head, fuck you. So that is what led me into the muscle building world of resistance training in the first place, is because
So the start was that your head was big, so you needed to make your body the same ratio as your head.
My head was big, was the source of the bullying, and then the
But do you
rationale
feel
was,
still like you think about that your head is big after that, or?
absolutely every day. No, well, not every day, less than every day now, but most days, I will see my face in the mirror, on my head, on my forehead, or whatever it happens to be, and I'll think, you were bullied in school, like quite bad, because of your genetic makeup. And that's quite unsettling. I'll be honest. That's quite unsettling as an individual, to know that just a genetic predisposition as to the size of your head will dictate and govern your experience of early life and have an impact on the rest of your existence. Like the impact it's had on me from that moment, or for those 7 years that I was bullied, right? The impact it's had on me until where I am now, and probably until I die, will be a very, very strong, prominent, unavoidable sense of anxiety when I'm in social situations, or if I'm meeting people that I don't know, or particularly larger men than me. That's something which I really kind of struggle with, is if I meet someone, or if I'm in a group of people and there are large men, because when I was in school, I think maybe I've always had like a predisposed lower testosterone kind of count, right? Or whatever it may be that determined my degree of genetic development. I was always smaller than the rest of the guys in school. I mean, I'm only 5'10" now, and about 76 kilos. Back then, I must have been like 5'8", maybe like 50 kilos. Something. I remember being like 7 stone at one point in like year 7 or 8 or 9 on the scale. I was tiny. So whenever I'm in an environment now where I am speaking to individuals who are bigger than me, particularly men, there is this inherent subconscious kind of be wary of these people, which is very uncomfortable. I don't want to be wary of these people. I'm sure they're nice. You know, it's only this one encounter. Well, for 7 years, it's only 7 years of encounters, which have determined how I respond to people who are reflective of who it was that I was challenged by in secondary school. But it's had a huge impact on my life. Huge impact. It's carried on massively, even to where I am today, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So interesting. I mean, I think I never thought about your head being, like I said in the last episode, I never once thought about your head being big. Like, does that occur to you, or do you think like that's bullshit, Julian? Or when I say that,
you know what? I genuinely, I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit. I've got
really?
quite a high hairline. My dad's got a
Yeah.
massive head. Dad's got a massive head. He's got big ears as
Mhm.
well. like if I compared my my ear circumference or diameter to my dad's, I guess it would be circumference. I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't really. I love you, dad. Really, your ears aren't that big. But my dad's got a big head.
Yeah.
I never until I went to primary school, secondary school. Apologies. Never until I went to primary school did I have any perception of the fact that I had a particularly long head, you know, to the point with which I should be bullied for it.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood it. No.
So your dad had the same. Your dad had a big head, and my dad have a lazy eye as well. So it's
Really?
like we get it from those fuckers.
Hey, the universe aligns us, right? This is why we're here right now recording this podcast. Hey.
Yeah. But like, because after I got to know you, Morgan, like my view was pretty neutral. Like I don't really judge people, I don't think, before I meet them. But after I got to know you, I really realized you're a really smart guy, and like
Thank you.
being like into fitness and the knowledge behind that, that's just one outlet you can use for your intelligence. But you could have used it for something else, like maths, like being a fucking best math student, or like being good at chemistry or something else entirely. But like yeah, so you started out, you were kind of skinny, you had a hard time building muscle mass. You kind of started training because your head was, you felt you got bullied, they say your head was big, right? So where did it go from there? Like why, what was it like to try to build muscle at your frame, with your frame? Sorry.
Great question. So I started lifting weights because I thought if I build a bit of size, you know, maybe I can start to feel better about myself. Because I mean, you know, my right bicep is okay. You know, that's all right, right? I feel good when I see my right bicep now. Start to feel a little bit better about myself. And then if, you know, I happen to be like a genetic freak and I just like explode into the Hulk, if these guys try and come for me again, I can just grab them by the throat and rip their head off. That was ultimately the rationale behind it. I want to be able to defend myself and say, stop doing this. Because I tried several times, sometimes which were quite effective, to speak and say, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you bullying me? I remember one interaction in particular. I was lining up for DT. What does that stand for? Like design technology class, right? Lining up in DT, and one of the kids who I used to be friends with, who'd been corrupted by the pricks who bullied me, had started like taking particular offense to my presence. And I said, look, dude, why are you doing this? Why? Like, we used to be friends. Why are you being such a horrible person to me right now? And that was the first occasion with which dialogue actually worked. And I think that kind of, I guess presents the idea that just having conversation is such a powerful thing. I just said, look, dude, why are you doing this? We used to be all right. We used to be like good buds. We used to sit next to each other. And now you're like slapping me, hitting me, calling me names in the corridor. Why are you doing this? And I can remember the expression in his face. He kind of looks at me like, oh, I don't actually know. And I just walked off back into class. And from that moment on, he never bothered me again. So I guess a kind of a little bit of a detour there in the context of the story, but never underestimate the power of conversation, because it will work with most people. Most people who are of sound mind will hear you out, especially if you can relay it kind of like, I guess, with some degree of comprehension and some kind of neutral platform. Just ask them a question. Why are you doing this? Why do you feel this? Why? It's a great way to engage in dialogue and kind of navigate through your differences. But no, I started to lift weights because I wanted to fend those people off, most of which who were much larger than me. So when I did start lifting, when did I start lifting? I started lifting. My close friend Lloyd, who I'm the best man of. Hey Lloyd, I know you're listening to this podcast. I hope you are. You better be listening to this point, Lloyd, because I'm your best man.
I'm about to best manship if you're not getting him on.
I'm about to call you out. If you went this far in, I'm about to call you out on your best man speech for not listening to episode 5 of the Vegan Muscle Cast, right? So Lloyd and I decided to join a gym, and we joined a gym in Cardiff. It was the Olympic like swimming center, something like that. They had like a gym in the back. Started lifting weights. Didn't have a fucking Scooby-Doo what we were doing, but we loved it. Loved it. I remember the first day I showed up to that gym. I came straight from work in the library, and I had my library shoes on. I had like these pointy leather shoes. I was like, oh my God, can I train in these? What if they kick me out? What the fuck? I'm such a bad person. And like,
it seems like we all start at this weird place. I started at the YMCA in Kansas. YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association. I don't get the deal with the whole YMCA thing, like founded by Christians or something. But you started at a swimming training facility. It's kind of interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you move more and more towards the hardcore. Training centers.
We started training. Started moving into the world of pre-workouts. We had the original. We bought the original Craze. Did you ever try Craze, Julian? By Sports? Wow.
That's a classic, the classic Craze and the classic Jacked, or like some people say Jack 3D. It's like we also got some in Germany because me and my family was in Germany. My brother bought some Craze because they stopped selling it, right? And then I was like, I don't want to bring this on the plane, so I'm gonna put it in the toilet. So he put it in the toilet because it was actually like not legal anymore. Because it used to be legal, but then they banned the substance.
You put a whole tub of Craze in the toilet?
My brother did. I would never.
Your brother's insane. That stuff would go for like several £1,000s nowadays.
I believe if you have a tub of classic Craze now,
oh my God,
damn, yeah. What did you say? How much?
It was like, I think the last time I saw it, which was several years ago, it was several £100s for a tub of the original Craze. Which essentially, for those of you at home who don't understand what we're talking about, perhaps you're just getting into lifting. Like back in the day, before the kind of supplement pre-workout industry was, I guess, not scrutinized. What's the word? Managed by a overarching body concerned with people's health. It
was easier to sneak like random shit into supplements without being noticed.
And when we say random shit, we mean like amphetamines. There were literal amphetamines in this Craze pre-workout and this Jack 3D pre-workouts. People were taking it and be like, oh my God, I'm having an amazing workout. It's an amphetamine. Whatever you do when you're on amphetamine will be amazing. You can go for a shit and wipe your ass. Oh my God, I love wiping my ass. This is amazing, right? But no, you're going to the gym. You're doing something. You're doing something productive, and it was such an addictive quality, right? But anyway, away from that, right? So Julian's brother flushed his Craze down the toilet, which is an absolute act of sacrilege. But
Yep.
that's where me and Lloyd started to move into maybe perhaps a little more of a focused direction with our resistance training, was to start working into like the realms of YouTube and YouTube fitness. And at the time, they were the Hodge twins, twin muscle workout. They were a big influence for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It feels real. Yeah,
structuring,
throwback.
structuring our workouts a little bit more, just just going on what they've said. And then that led us to just start pushing a little bit harder. And then when it came to coaching, which I know is the kind of ultimate answer to this question, is that kind of led me to where, several years down the line, I started training more locally. I started really appreciating kind of what it was doing for my body and how it was changing. And I started, I hopped on Instagram and I saw that like online coaching was like a big thing. I guess, Steve Hall, the Revive Stronger, just kind of popped up in my feed, and I thought, wow, this guy's this guy's great. Fucking hell, he just shares, the latest literature. He shares his opinion, shares his training. I've never seen this stuff before. I didn't know Instagram was kind of this well populated with fitness information. And so I submitted a client submission to their website, and Pascal Floor jumped on a call with me, and we started talking about what it is I want to achieve. He helped me, through several muscle building periods, helped me to my first bodybuilding show, which, I guess in reflection, perhaps wasn't navigated as best as it could have been. I lost so much muscle. I think it aged me. I was speaking with Howis, my girlfriend, last night, and she said, I think your prep aged you by at least 10 years. Like these wrinkles, see these wrinkles? They were never there. They were never there, right? Never there.
It might be like 5 years and then 5 years of wrinkles.
It was a very, very tumultuous time. But anyway, very grateful for Pascal and his support and Revive Stronger and all that stuff. No hard feelings at all. Moved into a bodybuilding prep, came out of it, and then I just got chatting to a guy in the gym one day, and I thought, you know what? I like what Pascal's doing. I like what Revive Stronger are doing. I'd love to do this myself. I love how deep a connection I formed with Pascal whilst we were working together. I love how he's always on my side. He's always thinking of me. He's always looking to, whether it comes to my performance in the gym, my biofeedback, my kind of check-in information, he's always looking for ways to offer me support and better my performance in the next week or the next month or whatever it may be. And I thought, I really value this. I really like what Pascal's doing. I wish I could do it for myself. This new guy joined the gym. I saw him I was on a bench next to him lifting weights, and I just started chatting. I said, "Hey, dude, how's it going?" And that was it. Kind of a couple of weeks later, I think we had a consultation call in a coffee shop just like opposite the gym, and I was charging him like 50 quid a week for programming, and that was it. That was like maybe like 2 years ago that we started working together initially, and that was what ultimately led me to, I guess, realize how much I value working with people to achieve something. It's not necessarily kind of coaching, right? Coaching is a great avenue because I'm very invested in building muscle and losing fat and bodybuilding. I'm very invested in that shit. I think it's great to kind of push the boundaries of physical performance when it comes to maximizing your muscle growth in terms of programming, nutrition knowledge, and all that stuff. But I think ultimately it comes down to helping someone in achieving what it is that they want to achieve, because there's nothing that feels quite like helping someone achieve something that they've really been driving for, right? I remember when we had our photo shoot, or your photo shoot, pardon me, and we had it in Cardiff. I think did you go home the same day that we had the photo shoot, or was it the next day?
I think your intelligence is high, but your memory is fucked. So I left like 2 days after, I think.
2 days after. So it was 2 days after. So 2 days after your photo shoot.
Something like that.
I remember, you left. I came back to, we had like a friendly gathering at a friend's house. And I remember saying, I'm like the happiest I've ever been. The happiest I've ever been. Yeah. Just taking Julian to this photo shoot. He had such a good time. We had such a good laugh. It was like, the endorphins, the serotonin was just like off the scale. I'm like,
that's like a side note. Like when you do something really fucking cool for someone else that you didn't think even yourself that you would do, it's like that's the best feeling. That's what I'm not religious, but that's what Jesus would say, right? Like when you do something for someone else, it's like the best thing for yourself because it feels so good to help an old lady across the street or help someone. And I think that's something a lot of online coaches they have in common. They like to help people. They like to make a difference. They like to get that feeling that I made a difference for someone else. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and that's why we're both here right now, right? Is like we like to help people make these differences. And there's no, for the people listening at the moment, there's no, if you're not in a position with which you're able to achieve your goals right now with the knowledge that you have, there's no shame in asking someone for help. There's no shame. There is,
and we can have a whole fucking episode about fitness coaches, about like what it's like being a fitness coach, imposter syndrome, like the road to being a fitness coach. But yeah, I think a lot of people, they think that fitness coaches, they just want to freaking sell their programs and get money. But then I think the real fitness coaches, the coaches that really are passionate about fitness, like me and Morgan, they're really interested in the stuff behind it, and like the whole niche and the whole thing,
like
it's not about
right?
It's not about being on a beach and getting rich. It's about fucking helping people and actually being really like when I think about being, if I thought about being, I'm a freaking amazing guy at gains. I just know a lot about gains. That's something really cool to me. That's like, it gets me stoked,
And you do, man. You help people, right? You help people achieve what they want to achieve. And I'd love, maybe we could explore this in another podcast, right? The reason why helping people is so integrally tied to our secretion
we
of
have
serotonin.
So much to we have so much to think, like, talk about, that we don't have enough space in an episode.
We don't. So we'll stay concise. In the
this
next
is
episode,
about you, Morgan. Yeah.
In the next episode, serotonin and how helping people can excrete copious amounts of it and make you feel good. But no, the reason I started coaching people was because I really enjoyed I really enjoyed how Revive Stronger operated with their clients. I enjoyed the results I got, and I wanted to navigate toward doing something similar to people like yourself, Julian.
Yeah. So you got inspiration from someone else. You thought like, oh, this is possible because they're doing it, and maybe I can do the same, maybe even better. Who knows? There's endless opportunities. Yeah. So what were some difficulties you came across? Like, I know you got bullied, you started lifting like a lot of guys do, because they feel like they're not big enough, they're small, it's masculine to be big, to be an alpha male, to be a fucking gorilla, to be able to fight off invaders, enemies, protect females, get laid, but what kind of, because I know you haven't had it particularly easy time getting muscle mass. Some people, they train for a year or two, they blow the fuck up. They have good genetics. They just do some random shit, and then they look like a freaking beast in 1 or 2 years. And what I know is that a lot of the people who don't have that, a lot of people who have a hard time building muscle mass, because it's really a big genetic component to it. Those are some of the people who learn the most, because they realize, oh shit, my genetics suck, and I gotta freaking learn so much and optimize things to be able to get to the next level, because I'm a skinny ass monkey and I gotta learn the next thing to get further than this, So like, let's say you lifted for a year or 2 or 3 and 4, and what happened after that?
Okay, so chronologically, like the first 2 years, myself and Lloyd, we were just like going to the gym and just like dicking around. It was just an opportunity for us to like hang out. Ultimately, we'd go to the gym. We had no understanding of what kind of intensity was, no understanding of nutrition. We'd like train. I remember for a period of time, I was like, I'd train with Lloyd. We'd go to Tesco Extra on the way home. I'd buy like a gallon of chocolate milk, because the forums say chocolate milk is great.
Bodybuilding miscellaneous forums. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah,
bodybuilding misc.
Yeah, exactly. Chocolate milk. So why is it particularly anabolic, Mr. like Roidhead Steve on the anabolic forums? Why is it particularly anabolic? Oh, because cow milk and hormones. That's why. That's good enough a reason for me. Every day after a training session, gallon of chocolate milk, and I turned fat as fuck. It was enormous. Anyway, I navigated myself through the first 2 years of my lifting career with Lloyd. Kind of, we were on par in terms of our gains. Lloyd was a little bit stronger than me. And I think from that period onwards, I started to express more of an interest into the the rationale behind program, like building muscle, the programming, and the kind of, I guess, the cellular adaptations, what we need to look for in terms of like training volume and all that. And from there, I think when university came along and different kind of interests came along, we kind of separated. So Lloyd went off. I started training by myself. At which point, I moved to a gym local to me, kind of which will remain undisclosed until a further date, in which I'm able to disclose it because of things, drama. But anyway, we'll get back to that another day. I joined this gym, and given the context of my situation, I thought, I want to push this. I want to push this. I've been training particularly well. I stumbled upon Renaissance periodization, started to understand their rationalization behind kind of volume, deloads, kind of being particular with your exercise selection and whatnot. And I thought, I'm on a good path here. But then again, progress just wasn't moving in the rate that it was. In accordance to an individual who's only got like 4 years of training experience. I thought that perhaps I've not got the, I guess, hormonal response to what I need to, or the hormonal response that I need in order to facilitate my muscle growth. So I'd always had, I'd started reading about kind of like SARMs, selective androgen receptor modulators on the interwebs, and forums everywhere, kind of reviews everywhere. These are great. It's like steroids, but you've got like no side effects, whatever. There's no shutdown, nothing. I probably sat on it for about a year. I was like, right, I want to start delving into the world of like performance enhancement. And after about a year or so, I thought, you know what? The past year, my numbers have been the same. My physique's been the same. I'm going to do something about it. So I bought a bottle of estrogen. I can't remember the kind of the scientific name for it. Let me just have a quick Google. So we got estrogen.
Yeah.
Estrogen.
While you check that out, like SARMs, or like a lot of people thought it was like, yeah, like steroids, but like not as serious, not as severe, and it was really good for your gains, but it didn't have any side effects. And I remember a friend of mine, he's really jacked, by the way. He's like 90 to 100 kilos at like 174 centimeters all the time. He can take 3 months out the gym and almost not lose any gains.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, yeah, this is like the new steroids. Like this is going to give you the same effects without any complications.
Yeah, right. So it was MK677, ibutamorin, and that was what I was on for maybe 2 months. I think the bottle came in. It was pill form. Came in a bottle, 2 months worth. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. Like first couple of days, I maybe noticed like a little bit of just some like disruption with my metabolism, just a disruption of my general well-being. And I thought, oh, this is working, right? Like, a couple of weeks in, I thought, oh, this is fine. Like once I'd finished the bottle, once I'd finished my cycle of SARMs, I came off for like 1 to 2 weeks, and I just deflated as a human being. Particularly, I think, as a male, I just completely deflated. I had no sex drive, no desire to communicate with the opposite sex, no desire to be constructive in work or pursue my kind of my passions. I was just like this inanimate object, which was, I guess, sustained by an insufficient amount of testosterone, and it was awful. I thought, what the fuck's going on? So, a couple of weeks in, I had a blood test. I went off to Medichecks, got a private testosterone and estrogen test. And when it came back, the doctor said, because there's a range, right? There's like a testosterone range, an average range. I think it's like, what is it? Let me just double check, just to be sure, just for the people at home. Average testosterone range, because we are on the fly here. Okay, UK, because I don't think we don't use deciliters over here, do we? So in the UK, the average testosterone range is 8.7 to 90 or to 29 nanomoles per liter. I was at about like 2. So I was off the charts, like literally in the wrong way. So I had a doctor's note with my private blood test saying, "You're fucked up. Get some help." So I went to the NHS. They took my blood. They, understandably, they had the same results. You're very deficient in testosterone. You need some supplementation. So from like, I guess like 5, how old am I now? 29 on Saturday. It's my birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday to me. I'm on the dark side of the 20s. So when I was
Congrats,
about 20,
man.
what?
Congrats, man.
Congratulations for being 1 year closer to death. Fuck you, Julian.
Sorry, man, for giving you a compliment.
I love you, really. I'm only joking. So about 6 years ago, I think I had that diagnosis from the NHS, and they said, "Hey, start rubbing this cream on you, testo gel." So I started rubbing it on my legs, right? And that's what I've been on for the past 6 years. Every morning, I have a shower. I rub this cream on my legs to like give me an exogenous form of testosterone. And have my gains been any better? I think my knowledge has gotten better. I think ultimately that's the message here.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I noticed like you talk a lot on our podcast, man, and I want to talk more. So I'm gonna talk right now. So what?
I can ramble a lot. I'm so sorry.
Morgan is actually using gel to increase his testosterone, but it's not to get a like more plates, more dates on YouTube would say, super physiological amount of testosterone, but it's to have a normal level of testosterone because he was experimenting with SARMs earlier and then he fucked up his levels. And now in order to be normal, he has to actually put some cream on his body. And big shocker, it happens, for a lot of people, it happens. A lot of people don't talk about it, but here on the podcast, we're real with you guys. We talk about that shit and we actually keep it 100. Yeah.
100.
100.
So started supplementing with testosterone. And I mean, it's probably been like 6 or 7 years. And the unfortunate thing is when you start TRT with that, I think it's explained to you when you start testosterone replacement therapy that you'll probably be on this for the rest of your life. And that's the unfortunate situation, is that you constantly got to rub this gel.
So what is it like feeling like you have to rely on this? Like if you don't get your gel, then you're fucked.
Yeah, it's it's like any we have like, in the context of a normal human's life, we have like pulses of testosterone throughout the day, depending on the context of our circadian rhythm. And if your testes are fucked, if they're turned off, you're not going to get these pulses, right? You're not going to get these pulses of testosterone, which stimulate, like muscle growth, nutrient partitioning, all of this stuff. So if you go, for example, for periods of days, like 2, 3, 4, 5 days, in my experience when working with the NHS, this isn't a dig at the NHS. The National Health Service is absolutely fabulous. I'm more than happy to pay my tax to help support the work that they offer to the population of the UK. But when you're not able to get your prescription because of incompetencies as a result of communication between the surgery and the pharmacy, you go several days, almost a week without having testosterone in your system. What do you think it's going to make you feel like? It's going to make you feel like shit. And that is a very, very difficult thing to navigate when it comes to managing your testosterone supplementation, I guess, is being, on the ball enough to say, hey, look, I've got like 2 weeks left of my prescription. Is it ready yet? Because I don't want to go like another 5 days without having like a penis that works.
So it's constantly this little worry that if I don't get it in time, then I'll feel like shit for several weeks and not have any sex drive, not have energy, and not have anything.
Yeah, because once you've told your testes to turn off because you're supplementing exogenously, it's gone. Like they're not just gonna suddenly start replacing what it is that you've lost before you started supplementing exogenously. They've turned off. Like, right? Imagine if you had like another vessel like pumping your blood for you. Your heart's gonna be like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Like, I don't need to do this. It's just gonna slowly start to die down, right? Imagine if you had like another layer of skin that you could like attach to yourself that would replace the job of your skin. Your skin's not going to do what it needs anymore. If you had like an exogenous form of a hormone, your body's going to recognize the fact that, well, I've got this hormone here. If I excrete any more, it's taking it beyond a level which is compatible with the balance between, testosterone and estrogen, for example. I shouldn't be producing any more than what is currently available in my bloodstream. So the body, your testes are going to switch off.
Yeah,
And
so
that's
this
why.
is for Morgan just to stay normal. Like it's not to have tons of trenbolone or sandwiches or something to be a steroid freak, but it's
Mm,
actually to just be a normal man, functioning male. That's like the amount he was using
yeah,
after the mess up he had earlier, right?
yeah.
So started lifting because you had insecurities, started getting into it with your buddy.
Hmm.
After a while you were like, fuck, this takes a lot of time. I've been lifting for several years and I'm still skinny. Like what can I do? And then you kind of thought, oh, this is the new steroids without any side effects. And then you were like, I'm gonna give it a try for a few weeks. You know, nothing, no big deal. It doesn't have any side effects, right? It's not really a drug, right? And then you tried it, and then you were like, damn, this fucked up my testosterone. And then you actually had to take testosterone in gel form to
Hmm.
maintain normal levels.
Hmm.
And that's where we're at currently in the story,
Mm.
I think.
That's where we're at right now.
So
So it was
yeah,
a case of, I guess, experiencing that shutdown um, of my own testes that required me to start, I guess, supplementing exogenously. But since then, with the introduction of, I guess, I started training by myself for about a year after I finished my contest prep with Pascal, which was a bit like which was not the best. After I finished that, I moved into which, in fairness, was a, I'll say it now, like a combination of both of us, right? I there was a period where I dropped weight for I dropped like maybe 5 kilos over the course of like 2 weeks when I was in like the depths of it. I think I was like 8 weeks out from a show and I dropped like 5 kilos. It was my fault for eating like an idiot. I'd just gone vegan. I'd employed intermittent fasting. I'd pushed all of my calories to the end of the day. I had like one feeding of protein per day, maybe two. Is it any wonder I lost like body weight at the rate that I did? That's a
you know what I
very
realized at this point, Morgan? You always the reason why you're so smart is because you fucked up so much. So
yeah.
that's why you know a lot
Mm,
of stuff. Like, don't fuck with your balls.
yeah.
Don't fuck with your protein. You know,
Mm,
because you're always talking. Get your 3, 4, 5 servings of protein each day. Spread it out all throughout the day. You know, if not, you're fucked. That's because you had a period of time where you fucked up by doing
yeah.
like one intermittent fasting window of like a
Yeah.
few hours.
I massively fucked up. I massively fucked up. And again, I think we again it was a contributory effect, right? It wasn't just it was a contributory effect of both factors. I lost too much weight in too short a period of time, given the context of the depth of my contest prep. And I think again that is what caused me these wrinkles and caused me like all of this kind of skin issue. Is like we were looking at pictures of me like kind of before I started my contest prep the other day, and I look like I was only like 3 years ago, right? I look about 12 years old. I look about 12 years old. I look about what? Not 12 years old anymore. It's only been 3 years. Right? So anyway,
I can
moving.
tell you, I mean, looking younger than you are, it kind of sucks too, because then people, you say something smart and it's actually smart, then
Mm,
people are like, shut the fuck up. You're like looking like you're 12 years old, you baby face. Fuck.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up. What the fuck do you know? Well, I've been on Ostarine and I've had fucking TRT, right? And I've been bullied, right? And I've got a lazy eye. The fuck do you know?
We're so fucked, man. It's like people listening to this, like, damn, I'm glad I'm not one of these guys.
Yep, absolutely damn. Well, if you never have to experience bullying or hormonal shutdown, good. But no, I finished my contest prep with Pascal, decided to go solo for a bit. And then I bumped into Cody on the streets. Now Cody lives in fucking Colorado. I didn't bump into him. I kind of stumbled across his content on Instagram, N1 training and N1 education. I thought, fuck, like, these guys are jacked. Kassem is very like Coach Kassem is very, very
Smart.
open. Yeah, very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first and foremost, very smart.
Good at biomechanics.
And he commented on
Yeah.
my story today, just saying, he commented saying, "Hey, it's nice work," and he's very open, like, about his dialogue, right? If he feels an opinion about something, whether it be like COVID, for example, given the context of our current societal standings, whether it be resistance training, his experience with people in the past that he's worked with, he's quite prepared to disclose his experience of it and his thoughts on the topic. And I thought, wow, this guy's really like. This guy's great. He didn't give a fuck. And then I stumbled
No,
across
we need
Cody.
more of that in this world, right? We
Yeah,
need more
right.
of people who are just like, I say, I curse, that's what I do.
Yeah,
I like fitness, that's what I do. I do this whatever it is, like don't try to fit into a certain frame, So what I noticed about Coach Kasim is he on Instagram, he's not afraid to go into debates with people and say, I fucking disagree with that shit. It's totally wrong. It's like this. And then I'll explain exactly why it's like this,
And then people run away, like the reverse Biden hack squad thing with Jared Feather, even though we won't talk about that in this post. Anyway, controversy aside, I bumped into N1, sent Coach Cody Moxley a message. We jumped on a call, and ever since it's just been like the past, like, I guess it's probably been about a year, maybe 14 months I've been working with Cody. His knowledge, his programming, just him and N1 and Coach Kasim and Coach Adam Miller. It's just been an absolute like revolution to my training, right? I've made more progress in the past like 2 years. I'd say if I had like Cody, N1, Coach Adam, and all of their combined knowledge on my side when I first started training,
then you would have been the Hulk by now, and people, that's what we're getting into, right? Like people think I know a lot about a topic, so now I'm good, but then you realize, oh shit, like I'm actually a baby. I don't know anything. And that's the same that happened to me, like with business, with fitness, with relationships, with every single, like there's similarities between every topic in your life, every part of your life. But the common thing is that you can always learn more.
Yeah, the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? The Dunning-Kruger effect. You learn a bit and you feel like, wow, I'm like the guy. And I think we've both been there, right? We like learn a little bit about resistance training. Maybe we've been training for like, I don't know, like a year, 6 months.
Trust me, man. Like I interrupt you a lot, man. But when I was training, after I trained for like half a year or 1 year, I was like, I know everything now. I know more than all these people. You have to train once a week, each muscle group, and then you can recover for a week, and that's optimal. And don't tell me otherwise. I'm the shit. I know everything. I'm gonna be jacked. And then the next year, I had a different approach, and the next year. And then for a few years, I thought I was a shit again. And then when I met you, and like when you meet new people and you realize new approaches to things, and you let go of some of your stubborn fucking opinions, then you realize, damn, I thought I knew everything for 10 years, and I actually know 10% at most.
Yeah,
it's so messed up.
Absolutely, there's so much to learn, and that's ultimately where we both find ourselves right now. Right, is that there's always going to be more to learn. I think we're only what can we compare this to? I mean, we only recently, we can divide, like, for example, I didn't know this when I first started training. You can like divide the lats into different divisions. There are going to be different kind of divisions.
And that's the topic of its own, right? You can divide the lats into different fibers, or different areas, but then that might be overkill, right? So for some people, that might not be necessary to go that deep into something. But if you're really interested in it, it's actually possible, and it can be optimal.
Context specific, absolutely.
So if someone's starting out with the gym, it's like, yeah, let's hit that part of the lat and that part and that part. It's like, maybe that's redundant. Maybe it's totally redundant. Just start with the basics. But the more advanced you get, the more like
gains you will have.
Yep.
Like Julian's experiencing right now.
Like if you really want to dig into a topic, there's probably more underneath.
Yeah.
Like if you really want to dig into the shit, there's probably more shit under there.
Like with Julian and I's coaching service, because we will examinate your shit and we will say, hey.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be the first to say I'm not the best coach in the world. At least I'm trying to improve every single day and get better and be upfront and honest about my shit, I'm not saying I'm the best in the fucking world. High ticket. No, but like I'm trying to be the best I can be, and I'm trying to help you as much as I can, and I'm always trying to improve. And I think that's a good trait a lot of people can take on, instead of trying to be like, I have to pretend that I'm better than I really am, and I have to pretend that I know it all right now, not to get embarrassed. It's fine to start out and say, hey, I know a lot of stuff, I can help you, but I don't know it all. And that's fine. We'll work together on it.
There's always more to learn. Always more. And the more open you are to that idea, the better a person you're going to be. I mean, like, again, just to harken back to the tadpole analogy from the last podcast. If you're the tadpole that crawls out of the prehistoric lake and says, hey, I know everything about everything. All of you other tadpoles are inferior to my being. I'm not going to mate with any of you because you're not worthy of my presence. Well, again, good luck, tadpole. Back into the drink you go with the crocodiles and the T-Rex. You're going to get munched up real quick. What brings about progress, resolution, new ideas is the exchange of those ideas in the first place, right? I disagree with you. Okay, why do you disagree with me? What evidence do you have? What is it about your approach that is different to mine? How come maybe we find a middle ground? Maybe between, like, for example, veganism and like the omnivore community or the carnivore community. Can we find a middle ground? There's clearly some health benefits when it comes to veganism, for example, when it comes to mitigating our LDL intake, our low density lipolipid intake with our cholesterol. With perhaps the omnivorous diet, the carnivore diet, maybe there's some scope for mitigating the amount of calories we eat. Maybe there's scope there for us to say, hey, can we bring about a resolution? Who knows, right?
Yeah, you can always learn more. There's a lot of stuff.
Always.
And as you mentioned, Morgan, you checked out the SARMs, you crashed your test levels, you took gel on your balls to get more tests again. And then you made some decent gains. You teamed up with N1 and Cody and
Team Moxley.
Yeah. And you actually learned that there's more to be learned, and you can really optimize your training. And that's kind of the stuff you've taught to me as well. This similar approach.
Loads to be learned.
So like from all of this we've talked about so far, there's always growth, there's always learning, you always change on your journey. And like, what do you see for yourself over the next few years?
The next few years, wow,
great time question. To come. Because I mean, it's fucking dope. We're having this podcast, we're talking shit, we're giving some knowledge bombs. I think, I mean, we know a fair amount of stuff, and it's cool, man. Like I didn't think it was gonna be this freaking awesome when we started.
See, that's why we've got a podcast, man, because you're such a cool dude, appreciating moments like this, right? And that's a whole nother podcast for itself. Appreciating moments like this where you can connect with someone, appreciate being in the moment, because that's all we ever have, right? Like me just saying appreciating the moment is like gone. Like space-time is like engulfed that and digested it and spat it out into the other like realm of existence. It's gone, right? This is all we've ever got. So I really appreciate you handing that over, because it's a very very important point. But what do I see for myself in the future?
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, we talked about already, like we're interested in fitness, we're interested in the science, we're interested in the stuff, we want to help people. It's not about like being a rich baller sitting at the beach and being like, yeah, I have 5,000 clients and I don't give a fuck about them, I just want money. And I say, like, do fucking chest day and leg day, it's it's about actually teaching stuff to people and actually spreading the word and being a, let's say, priest in the Church of Gains.
So Church of Gains. Wow, that's going to be the title of this podcast. A preach in the Church of Gains.
So I'm kind of proud of that already after 3 seconds. But anyway, so like, what do you really want, Morgan? Like, what do you want to do with your business, with your coaching, with fitness? Like, what do you see for yourself? Like, if you could maximize it and think, this is the shit, this is what I want to do.
So there are a lot of leading figures in the coaching industry right now when it comes to just like maximizing people's performance, their results and whatnot. I want to be the figurehead when it comes to maximizing people's performance in the vegan scene, right? Because I still think there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to people's understanding of muscle growth, fat loss, kind of build, energy expenditure, whatever it may be in the vegan fitness space. I want to be I want to be one of the guys that is just like, hey, this is all bullshit. Let's align our results with the message that ultimately is veganism and mitigating animal suffering on a global scale. Let's show people that we can build muscle, get fit, like win bodybuilding shows potentially, and do whatever the fuck we want to do. Have photo shoots, essentially maximize our physique and our well-being, whilst not condemning animals to a needless, painful slaughter. That's the message. That's ultimately it.
Yeah. So reaching our goals really efficiently, really properly, without fucking other people over.
Without fucking other people over. And let's not forget that
Sounds
animals,
like a good.
you know, if,
good thing.
what do we what is a people? What is a person, right? I
Yeah,
guess
I mean, that's another fucking podcast
it is.
episode. You know, we
Thank
have
you for
so many.
stopping
We
me.
have like 300 episodes in store.
Thank you
Like
for stopping me.
people, animals, well, whatever the fuck we call someone, something, whatever. Like we are all alive and we're all in this place together.
Julian knows me too well. I was about to go off on it then, and he strapped the leash on me and he said, "Fucking hell, Moog, stop."
Yeah.
And
I
that's
mean,
again,
even if we have a fair amount of value in this podcast, and even if we have a certain red thread to follow and a story to follow, at least we can't go back on the cursing if we don't know what the fuck we're gonna say, you know.
fuck, prick, shit.
Yeah, it's a love. It's a love.
It's all love.
The positive side of cursing.
So
so I mean, we kind of went through your story, you know. I mean, maybe we skipped some stuff. There's always more, but yeah. What do you think about that? What do you think
it's
about
cool,
your
man.
life?
I think ultimately it's the message of if you're experiencing turmoil, bullying, unnecessary conflict in your life, which may be directed towards you because of discrimination, be prepared to challenge it. Be prepared to communicate with words, as opposed to just like I'm just gonna start throwing spears immediately at this person who's like challenging my perceptions of things.
You know, the way we are challenging perceptions here is that we're just being more, what's it called? Like when you say things that are not appropriate, when you curse more than is usual.
Inappropriate.
I thought the lad podcast was bad. I was like, this is kind of, I thought it was a good one, but it's kind of messed up. But then this one is even worse. And then who knows about the next one, you know? But
who knows? We're gonna be naked,
knows?
right?
Keep freaking listening.
Fans.
Yeah, keep freaking listening if you want to learn what's going on here. But I don't know. I think this is like the max one. Maybe the next one will be the worst one, but we'll see.
We've maxed out so far. But no, if you're, I guess the takeaway from this is when it comes to, I guess the topic of this podcast, right, was like kind of, you know, dealing with bullying, maybe self-limiting beliefs, how they may manifest in your daily existence. Don't let it get in the way of what it. And I know it's easy to say, right? Don't let it get in the way of who you are and what you want to do. It's very easy to say. I knew who I was when I went into secondary school, and I had that beaten out of me. I wanted to be an actor. I was always in the state. I was always in the stage shows. I was always acting in like the primary school, like stage appearances, the shows we put on for kids, you know, the parents and whatnot. But the second I entered secondary school, all of that was like kicked out of me because I got a big head. And I know it's easier said than done. If I could go back now with the, you know, the rationale that I have and the personality that I have into year 7 to confront those pricks that beat me to a pulp, you know, because of who I wanted to be, I would have handled it much more differently, much differently. All right. Whether it be kind of asking someone for help or standing up for myself or being prepared to say, no, I'm going to do this regardless, whatever the fuck you guys say. This is school, right? If you want to take it, if you want to like deal with me, you'll deal with my mum, you'll deal with my dad, right? They're going to fucking take you to town. Be prepared to always be prepared to explore yourself and express yourself, regardless of what other people think. Because otherwise, you're gonna like me, right? You're gonna spend 7 years of your existence in secondary school not being happy, like not being able to express yourself, and ultimately, I guess, you know, be behind in terms of where you could be. I'm only just understanding who I am. Like in the past 2 years, since I started moving into the world of online coaching, working with people like Julian and the rest of my clients, and being able to express myself online in the format that I do and having people receive it in a positive manner, that's allowed me to explore who it is that I am. And again, connect with who it is that I am, that I was in primary school before the bullying. So if you're in a position right now where, you know, you're being oppressed, you don't feel it's fair, keep your values close to heart and tattoo them onto your forehead so that people know what it is that you mean, or just like carry like a I'm not gonna promote violence. I was gonna like carry a blade and be like, hey, want to come at me? I'm gonna come at you. Don't carry a blade. Don't carry a blade, people. That's not okay. It's illegal. Physical violence isn't acceptable, but verbal interaction is very, very appropriate and often quite effective.
I almost thought you weren't vegan for a second, like
No.
carrying a blade, committing murder.
Yo, hey, look,
as a vegan.
I got like there are seagulls that live around Phillip Street, right? And when it's mating season, they start dive bombing you. If a seagull tries to dive bomb me when I'm just walking around the streets, if I can grab its neck, its life is over. You want to attack
let's
me?
be real. Being vegan doesn't mean that you don't think seagulls are annoying or that ant invasion of your house is annoying and you're willing to almost kill, You can still get pissed off and hate certain animals, It's just that you try to avoid killing people and animals if you can.
And if an animal wants to attack me, I'm going to attack you. Whether it be,
if someone fucks you over, you fuck them over back, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah. Whether you're a bird, if someone attacks you, a bird attacks you. My God, oh, vegan, I can't attack you. No, stop attacking me, bird. I can't do anything. No, just fucking whack haymaker into his skull, right? You don't attack me. Don't attack me for no reason. Anyway, perhaps a bit off topic, but hey, what a fabulous podcast, Julian. Really good one. Thank you for taking the helm and asking me such very.
I mean, now we've talked a little bit about my story. We talked a little bit about your story. I had a lazy eye, fucked up face, that made my mind go crazy and think I'm not as good as everyone else. And you had bullying. You had a fucking big head, and people were saying like you look like shit, and your body is 1/10 the size of your head. And then it made us start lifting, man. It made us learn something new and get to know each other. So it all ended up well. But
dude, yeah, exactly. If it weren't for those, I won't say.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for being fucking dickheads, because now we have an awesome podcast and we have an awesome life, and it's gonna be cool.
Damn, Julian, that was fucking savage. I love it. Julian's getting in on the savagery. I love it. I've not got anything else to say. That's it. Ultimately, thank you guys for being pricks, because we have a very great life right now. And you've shaped this.
Being like professional here, like I think this is important to talk about, right? Because a lot of people have hard stuff they're going through, hard situations. Maybe if you hear us saying like fuck, like cursing all the time, it's like we're trying to be cool. But I think we're just tired of the shit, tired of trying to be fake, trying to be something we're not, and being censored and being this and being that. Me and Morgan, we just want to be real with you guys, and we want to talk about us, talk about what we've been through, what we want to do. And we want to keep this podcast mostly to fitness related topics, right? But also to relate to you guys, because it's real. And there's a reason behind why we started lifting. And now you know mine, and now you know Morgan's.
And next time, what will we discuss? I think we moved into some quite philosophical stuff in maybe about half hour ago. So who knows what the topic of the next podcast will be? But hey, thank you all.
Thank you for the few of you that made it through and actually listened to the whole thing.
Hey, dude,
you're the
first
real OGs.
podcast had like 100 viewers. It's had 100 listeners. That's amazing. Right, people have gone out of our way. You listening to this right now, who's gotten to the end, I know you're listening, Mum. Right? I know you're listening. Right? I know you're listening.
Hey, Morgan's mom. I haven't met you yet, but soon I will.
Hopefully, Julian will meet you at our housewarming. Julian reckons you're really hot. Okay, so just be prepared. He's gonna put the moves on you. I'm joking. I don't know. Am I joking?
Oh my God.
We never conversated about this. It may be the truth. Anyway, people of Instagram, people of Spotify, people of Anchor, thank you so much for listening to this podcast, which has gone on for like fucking hell. I mean, an hour now. I hope you've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we promise the next few episodes are going to be a bit shorter. This is important stuff. It's my story, it's Morgan's story. Those are long episodes, but the next few ones are going to be a bit shorter, more to the point. But I thought and Morgan probably thought that this was important to get done pretty early in the sequence of episodes we're going to make over the few Months and years, yeah.
Years, damn straight. It'll be like 75 on our deathbed. Me and Julian in the same fucking like a retirement home, and like I don't know where we'll be, like fucking Saudi Arabia or some shit, or like Norway.
Flashback, my gains were this amount in my life, and now I'm at the elderly home, the same one I used to work at when I was 27, which I am now.
Hey Julian, my kidneys don't work anymore, but at least we got this podcast, right? That's a great place to be. At least you had a good life. Anyway, enough bullshit. I've been VMC, aka Morgan Leyland Smith.
And I've been HPP/Julian/JBeck.
Lots of love. See you in the next one.
See you in the next one, guys.